Hello. How is everybody doing? Apparently all my hair's falling out. Yeah. How is everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's the universe? How's your week been? Hello to those apparently be watching on the VOD. I hope you are well. Um, yeah. Hello. How's everybody doing? Hello, Luca, and hello, annoyingly, YouTube has changed. It might show up here in a minute, but YouTube has changed so that you just see usernames, which is a lot harder to distinguish than like, people have like written out a username. So hello to the person waiting, who I will just mispronounce your name, and also I can't really see. So yeah, my apologies. I would rather apparently that than. Sorry, just fixing the lights. Yeah. Hello. How is everybody doing? I'm making a mess of it already. How's things? How's life? How's the universe? How's your week been? Hello, Jim. How you doing? You bought OSRTC through coupon? Nice. Was that recently? Have I just sent you it or something? I'm sure that I recognize your name. I recognize. Anyway. From Bangladesh. Ah, that's where I recognize your name. Nice. Did you get it sorted with UPS? Yeah. Good, we're up. Right, yes, sorry. I guess I had someone. So I have I'm not well today. Uh I I was I have been uh in gastrointestinal pain for the last 27 hours. I didn't sleep much last night because it kept me up slash woke me up. Um and I have been unable to function today, so I am not okay. So my apologies if my ability to speak, remember things, or generally function is limited. I am doing my absolute best, but this is the first like work thing I've actually been able to do today. So thank you, Jim, and sorry. Uh, is it Anurag? Is that right? Um, please let me know your name so that I can stop being an idiot about it. Like Anurag. Okay, and is that an appropriate way to say it? Um, I'm trying. I'm sorry. I need a spa day. Uh, so my mixture of autism and ADHD means that spa days are actually very uncomfortable for me. The thing is that I don't know how to rest. Thank you, Anurag. Yeah, rest is not something that my brain can do. So yeah. Hello, app. How you doing? How's things? If I remember rightly, and that's not a given today, it's been a little while. Hope you're good. Because I'm not. Uh... what's been interesting that's happening in tech this week? Been a while. All Gucci. Been running a lot, so busy on Thursdays. Fair enough. I guess your running club is on Thursdays, or your running activities. Fair enough. Nice to hear you're active. More active than me. AWS, yes. Was that ARM laptop video supposed to come out this week? I assume tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow night. Yeah. And then a Philips monitor, and then oh yeah, the controllers. And then what I was meant to work on today, which is a AOC 500Hz QD OLED, which is really beautiful. Yes, Jim. Tomorrow. Can oh yeah, AWS incident. That was quite funny. Long story short, I paid someone last week. They couldn't find the transaction, so I was trying to like, get in touch with my bank to make sure that it had gone through. And it was that morning that the AWS went down, and my bank was one of the affected banks. And so, yeah. It was quite funny. And I knew something was up because it wasn't just my bank, but like Signal for Desktop was down and, a bunch of other stuff. And it's like, okay, so which one of the cloud services went down? And then a few hours later, I get a message from the bank saying apologies for that. AWS was down. Cool. Why does everyone depend on US East? Because it's the default. Because it's fractionally cheaper to do stuff on US East than it is to do it anywhere else in the world. So yeah, that's why companies saving money. That's what it always is. I have a question. Can budget OLED monitors have ghosting? No. Unless they do something really, really wrong, no. Hold on. Let me reposition my chair and then I'll explain. Getting comfortable. Right. Professor's in session. Actually, just replying to WAP. Yeah, there are. I mean, not budget by like, £100 monitor standards, but like there are some close to budget ones. So there are a couple of things. One, OLEDs by design, QD first gen ones. So unless they do something stupid with the display controller, which they do, I'll come on to that in a second, but the core fundamental of the Pixel technology is LEDs. Do I have any LEDs to hand? Of course not. Bye. Actually, do I have LEDs on these boards? Yeah, I do. Right. Okay. Using my own boards. Why not? That's what they're there for. Do I have them on this one? There's one. Ha 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 ha. LEDs. Right. So that little bugger in the corner is an LED, if you care to know. And these LEDs are very similar in design, form, and function to that you find on an OLED. It's just this is a lot bigger. And I think he uses a lot more power. Like, this is like 50 milliamps. And if every single LED in there was 50 milliamps, that'd be a lot of milliamps. Anyway, these LEDs can produce light within normally hundreds or tens of nanoseconds. Right? Very fast. So when we're talking about milliseconds, these are like, you can easily drive an LED from 0 to 1 in 1 microsecond, so 0.001 milliseconds. Most displays claim 30 microseconds to drive them, which is mostly a constraint of the driver circuitry rather than the actual LEDs themselves. But the reason that you may see something resembling ghosting, especially on less tuned panels, is they still implement some weird overdrive. I don't know why. It's probably just like idiocy, you know? Like they just didn't bother to fix it compared to like a, you know, it was an IPS like controller that they're using and they just forgot to turn overdrive off. But some panels, some OLEDs do overdrive, and it's really weird. So what you'll see in the raw data graphs on OSRTT is, you know, let's say you're going from a low brightness to a high brightness. So it'll be flat. Excuse me. It'll be flat, and then it'll be basically a straight line up, and then it will go past the target for a whole frame, and then drop back down again to the stable level. And you'll often see little blips to darkness at the start/end of each frame or between frames, which is actually a really good way to time frames and make sure that adaptive sync is working. So yeah, it can do inverse ghosting sometimes, rarely. It's only for a single frame, so you would struggle to notice it. But yeah, unless the controllers are absolutely trash, generally no. There we go. Where is it? So I have experimented with that before. So that is a 6 or 12 axis color sensor. I can't remember exactly. There are many problems with that. The biggest one being color science is incredibly complicated, and getting accurate measurements and all that sort of stuff is really difficult. And so yeah, like if it was my full-time job to make tools, I might consider it again. Although saying that, there are multiple tools that I'm working on that I just haven't touched because the joys of being ill and disabled. There's fireworks going on outside. Like, bruh. It's a week and a day until Halloween, let alone bonfire night. Chill. Anyway, yeah. So there's basically 2 other tools that I would want to finish before I sort of go back to trying color science stuff. But it is something that I would like to do eventually, yeah. Like, I would like to make my own spider, like data color spider type tool. But yeah, I gotta have a functioning body, brain, time, and energy. and I have exactly 0 of those right now. So, yeah. Incandescent displays when we kind of already did those. Do they use controllers from IPS? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if the earlier ones were. One project I'm doing is also all GCP. That's Google Cloud Platform. But we tend to have everything deployed in Azure and AWS these days. Fair. Smart. Warzone already. Hello, Simon. How you doing, man? How's things? I've reviewed 12 monitors at the OSRTT. Nice. Another question is, what is refresh rate compliance percentage in OSRTT? It's always on the lower side. So the refresh rate compliance is actually really simple. It's just how many of the 30 transitions are under the refresh rate window. So if you look on the heat maps, on that left-hand column, if the you look at the heat map table and how you count how many of those are under the refresh rate window. So for 144 hertz, that's 6.9 milliseconds. If it's 165 hertz, then it's, oh god, I can't do maths in my head. Hold on. I should know these, but 6.06 milliseconds. 240 hertz is like 4.2, that sort of stuff. So yeah, you basically just count how many of the transitions that you have are under that refresh rate time. And the true answer is that not many of them often are. There are a few caveats to that. So the way that OSRTT by default tests is, at least right now, with an RGB5 tolerance, which is pretty tight, and by default it shows you the perceived response time, which is including any overshoot time. If you compare that to what the manufacturers would recommend you test at, they would say you should only show the initial response time, so not including any overshoot time, and you should only test with 10% of the light level, so not gamma corrected, which is generally frowned upon in the reviewer industry, because 10% of light level, well, it is the industry standard for electronics like change times, it is not a useful metric for user experience, like gauging user experience. So when you see companies advertising, a 1 millisecond response time, that doesn't take into account the overshoot, that doesn't take into account gamma correction, and that doesn't take into account really anything. It's also normally a pretty small transition window, so it would be from 51 to 102, and none of that's not the average. So yeah. How's it different from the average perceived time then? So the average perceived time is just the average response time, including overshoot time. The average initial response time is the average response time, not including overshoot. The percent in window, or the refresh rate compliance percentage, is it's not an arbitrary figure because it's the refresh rate, but it is a sort of a simple check to see if the display is actually hitting its target, right? If it says that it is to use your numbers, 200 hertz monitor with a 5 millisecond like refresh rate window, if the average is 5 milliseconds, that's good. But if exactly half of those transitions are actually above 5 milliseconds and half of them are equally below whatever, so that it averages out to 5, then that's less good, because it means that for half of the transitions, it's normally going one way or the other. So going from dark to light is normally okay, but going from light to dark isn't, or vice versa, depending on the panel type. TN and VA and IPS are opposites generally. No, yeah, so TN, VA and IPS really struggle from going from bright down to dark, because you can't really drive that fast. Whereas the other way, going from dark to light, they're normally very fast, whereas TN's the other way around. Anyway, that refresh rate compliance figure is telling you, even though the average might be good, 60, 70, 80% of the time, it's actually not meeting its own refresh rate requirements. And that's something to keep in mind. Because even though the average is technically okay, the overall user experience might not be. It's just another metric to give you an idea of, to give you the context to understand how the panel is doing. Yeah. Hello, Flame on Twitch. That's new. The ad comes on half the screen with the ad sounds muting the main. Wonderful. Hello, Tammy. How you doing? How's things? Anyone else dealing with the YouTube app UI changes? I mean, we're still on only seeing usernames, which is really annoying, in the chat. So, yeah, sort of. Sorry, I appear to be also extra slightly ill, so my apologies. How's everybody doing otherwise? Where did I put my... Oh, there it is. The new show hide button is annoying. Where's that? I've not seen that one. Although saying that, I don't really use the YouTube app that much. I spend all my time on desktop. All my time. Far too much time. I actually think that I have the ultimate monitor in right now. It's pretty much directly above me, in fact. What's it called? AOC AG. Oh god. The AOC AG276QKD2, not the QCD, the QKD2. Because it is a 1440p, 500 hertz QD OLED with 1000 nits of brightness and 100% of both DCI-P3 and Adobe RGB color spaces. What? And it's under £1,000. That's less than £1 per nit. $5,000 hertz, not 5 billion. If you add links or thumbnails mid-video, it now lets you show or hide it. Interesting. When I full screen, the like and dislike button is now in the corner for PC browsing, as well as mobile, similar to TV Touch. Oh, yeah, I have experienced that part before. Yeah. Hello, Ish. How do you doing with those things? How's life? I'm gonna blow my nose again for them. Apologies. I'm still discovering this annoying update. Yeah, YouTube really does like to change things that aren't broken, don't they? Although I suppose to them, it's not that it's necessarily broken, it's that they want to do everything they possibly can to increase engagement. Or more specifically, increase engagement to increase time on platform, to increase number of ads shown. Unless you're YouTube Premium, and then the incentives go the other way, which is really weird. Because like YouTube Premium, their dream is for people to pay for Premium but not use it. Life's okay for me. I had a couple of days of annual leave and was sick with cold flu for the entire time. Wonderful. Hope you're doing okay. Talking of things that changed that aren't broken, last year Microsoft made 3 million feature changes to Azure alone. What's your thoughts about Intel GPUs? I'm excited for a third player in the space. From a consumer, should you buy a B380? Is that it? I mean, check reviews and whatnot, but yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna assume your name is Desmond, since that's what's in the middle of the XX. Thank you very much. Intel GPUs look great for Plex. Fair enough. Given Nvidia's stake in Intel, you reckon they'll ditch Arc? I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure that the deal was only for CPUs. But yeah. Reveal your own rig spec today. It's no secret. I think it's an 11900K, 64 gigs of RAM, 4060 Ti, Intel X540 10 gig NIC, couple of 2TB M.2s, Corsair AIO that I've had for years and does fine. I think it's a Corsair 1000-watt power supply as well. And I couldn't tell you which motherboard is in there right now. Yeah. Thank you very much, Desmond. That's very kind. I'm glad you enjoy even the few videos you have seen. Intel seem solid budget cards, not like the top end CPUs, and I heard from acquaintances that they seem fine, as in nothing to shout about. Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard too. Nvidia's never ditching ARM. They have no choice because Windows doesn't want to play ball with MediaTek because of the Snapdragon partnership. Yeah, so the thing is, one of the things that I mentioned in the video that you'll see tomorrow about the Acer ARM laptop is Windows for ARM should not be called that. It's Windows for Snapdragon. The main feature that makes Windows for ARM work is a feature called Prism. Prism, much like Apple's Rosetta, is a compatibility layer that allows x86 compiled programs to automatically work on ARM without needing to be recompiled. This is a very big deal and something that is entirely required for Windows for ARM to ever work in any meaningful scale, and I'm not entirely sure it will, but it's what's required. The only problem is, Windows for ARM is entirely written for Qualcomm's Snapdragon X series of CPUs. They expressly say on their docs page for Prism that Prism is written or requires performance features only found in Qualcomm Snapdragon X CPUs. And if you don't have those, Prism basically ain't gonna work. Yeah. Does Intel use TSMC or something for the GPU, or do they fab it off still? I know that at least for the iGPUs, built into the I/O tile, they were using TSMC N5, N6, depending on which, if you're talking about Meteor Lake or Arrow Lunar Lake. I don't remember on the dedicated, the GPU front, what they use. Although Tamei says that Battle Mage is still on TSMC, so there you go. If Microsoft played ball, we would have the NVIDIA MediaTek laptops yesterday. Well, the thing is that Microsoft made an entire new version of Windows for Intel. Windows 11 only exists because Intel wanted it to. Intel asked them to. Intel, I'm sure, paid them to. I mean, yes, it was a great deal for Microsoft. It gave them a great way to screw over consumers even more. But the impetus for it was Intel's launching hybrid CPUs, and we need a scheduler update, and we need to make sure that people, know what operating system version buy or to use with our new CPUs. And instead of having to go, oh well, it's Windows Update KB 6278295, they just go, it's Windows 11. You can only use Windows 11. So yeah, I'm not that surprised that Microsoft doesn't want to play ball with too many other CPU manufacturers. I think I have a sneaking suspicion that Intel isn't that worried about Qualcomm stepping on their toes. Where did I get to? What engineering academic background am I from? Funnily enough, I'm not. Hold on. I have very little academic qualifications. I did what we call A levels in the UK. So basically education until you're 18, 19. I think it was 18 when come on, brain. Yeah, but I don't have a degree. The closest thing I have is a decent grade in electronics and a terrible grade in computing. College was the time where the undiagnosed ADHD really went for me. I also got my first chronic illness in college, and I was already running this channel and was fairly certain that's what I was going to do. So yeah, I had my mind elsewhere other than exams and stuff. The fun part is that the Windows Thread Director still isn't as efficient as the Linux scheduler is for the same tasks and the same chips. Yeah, I am really not surprised. Not one bit. Remember I asked you about what Wendell spotted when he was touring Intel's fabs, and I was thinking it might have been a sample production for AMD. Looks more likely now hearing AMD have confirmed plans to pursue a contract with Intel to produce something. Interesting indeed. Wonder if that's how do I say this politely? The effects of recent regulation. If you're a symbol of perseverance, passion, and inspiration, then. Thank you. That's a very nice way to put it. Yeah. I also started work and didn't do great in A levels, but I have no diagnosed conditions. I mean, fair enough. I have many. 3 in my head. Disorders, specifically. And then, yeah, gut, joints, joints again, eyes, lungs. You're a symbol of stubborn, digging heelsinness. That I agree with. That I agree with. I'm not sure. I'm not sure like what the intention is there, but the implication to me is that Jim is saying, "Yeah, but you got something though." Oh dear. Easier to start with heads than shoulders, then back, belly, knees, but not toes. Good point. Yeah, no. So yeah, my back, all of my joints because hypermobility. The other fun one is if you put your hands on your sides and then rotate your shoulders forward, like this doesn't hurt. Um, yeah. So, I wonder what your Angela Duckworth grit score. I have never heard of that. But if someone wants to ask me the questions that I assume are required to create what I have to assume is a BuzzFeed listicle style quiz, then why not? We're not doing anything else. What's the tech review situation in England? Do you buy products to review, or do companies patronize you? For the most part, the PR and marketing teams are all very developed here. Thank you for the misinformation map. Yeah, no, I mean, in the description of every video, normally right at the top, I always include where I got the products, which is almost always the company provided them. I do my best to be upfront about where the products come from. But yeah, almost always from the companies. Yeah, the funny thing is, so for those that don't know, the way that PR and marketing teams work is that they give people like me samples to review their products in the hopes that 1, we create content about those products, 2, it is generally favourable content which helps promote the products, and 3, creates a trustworthy environment for both the brand and the product itself, such that when you then go to potentially purchase the product and you see a review from someone like me and I'm going, well, it's actually pretty decent, you should buy this. You buy the thing and then, you know, that helps. And it's kind of an equitable situation for everyone because the companies generally get cheap or free marketing from it. A lot, like the majority of the things that you see on the channel that are provided by the companies are actually loan samples. It's something that I get for 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks at a push, and then it is whisked back away to go to another reviewer somewhere else. Or event. And so that means that it costs them very little. It costs them, you know, the price of shipping to the media, which is relatively cheap in the grand scheme of things, especially compared to the cost that the, like, you know, if I were to do a sponsor video, that costs a lot more than just the shipping for the thing. Anyway. the problem for me is that I'm far too honest. And I make enemies. Not enemies. I make dissatisfied customers because the companies are also customers in a way. And I don't do great customer service for them. So yeah. Uh um but yeah, I would rather be honest and then not get their stuff anymore than lie or omit things. Um, so yeah. So you can cover costs solely from YouTube monetization. No. YouTube monetization is, not an insignificant part, and I would really, really struggle without it. But the Amazon affiliate links that you see in the description, that's a big one. Stuff like Patreon for me and like YouTube membership isn't exactly a massive thing, but it does, like, the Patreon money goes towards hosting the websites, for example, and occasionally like buying products that I can review. In fact, I've got a couple of videos of that nature, both up recently and another one coming soon. So yeah, that sort of stuff. And then sponsorships, and for me in particular, the tool sales has actually become a pretty massive thing for me. So yeah. Essentialist. Do I return products after review? If the companies send me them, yes, because they collect them. It's not really returning as much as they give me a shipping label and I have to print it out. So yeah, in that way, yes. If I buy something, no, never do. I don't really like that, especially because if you're buying stuff from Amazon, if you send it back, like 90% of the stuff that they you return just gets destroyed, and that's not great for like the environment and stuff. So yeah, I would much rather keep it, sell it on, give it away, anything like that. It depends on the value of the item, as we've seen from a whole bunch of Reddit posts. If you ship expensive stuff back that happens to be the right weight, they will often just resell it as new, which is really bad. But yeah, if you ship like the what you call it, the lowest I bought a couple of controllers for an upcoming video, and if I were to return them, which to be fair, kind of want to, they are dog shit. I'm pretty sure those would just get destroyed, which sucks. Hello, Simon. How do, man? How's things? How's the system doing? Haven't released an OSRTT update in quite a while. Any time soon will a new update come? What are you working on? On OSRTT, no. I don't currently have anything in the works. I did just release an update on OSLTT literally last night, while struggling with severe stomach pain. But yeah, if there are specific like issues, features, I'm gonna really struggle to do anything about anytime soon. But if there are any specific like bugs with it, you are more than welcome to let me know via GitHub issue or via email, or in the Discord on the OSRTT, OSLTT support channel. But yeah, it's working fine for me, and I built the tools for me, and so if it works fine for me, I struggle to find need to keep changing it. That's not to say that I will never do an update for it. It's just that it's working and very stable for me right now, and I am really struggling to function just generally in life right now. And so, you know, doing stuff extra is difficult. The classic developer answer, it works on my system. Well, the thing is that it does. Uh, uh, um, Unlike the motherboard GM purchased a couple years ago, which went on to create heaps of follow-up videos and discussion, up was an unrepaired faulty unit. I'm not sure that sentence makes sense to me, but fair enough. If the tool works, then it just needs bug fixes, if any are raised. If it don't, ain't broke. Unless they're bug fixes. Yeah, very much. What inspired you to pursue this analytical tool builds and knowledge regarding monitors? I've been reviewing monitors for a decade more. I mean, I've been running the channel for 13 years, and one of the first videos was reviewing a monitor I bought. So I guess I've technically been reviewing monitors for 13-ish years. 13 and a half years, actually. And so, yeah. I was getting sick and tired of not being able to test response times. There wasn't a tool on the market that wasn't just buy an oscilloscope and an expensive photodiode box and deal with it. So yeah, I decided to make one. I was actually spurred on by a video by Eric from Aperture Grill, who's really cool, does some really cool stuff. Yeah, he made a really basic bodgy solution for himself. I guess, let's say I built on that with the same sensor, the same microcontroller, but just in a box of the PCB. And then refined it until into the tool that you see today. And I would like to keep refining it. I have a large photodiode sort of expert tool that I haven't touched in like a year, but would very much like to get working right. And so yeah, I wanted the tools for myself to test monitors, test keyboards and mice, test keyboards and mice, and so yeah, I built one. Top mouse at the moment. I don't test that many mice, so I am a terrible source for that. I'm actually struggling to remember any of the mice that I've reviewed recently either. So, yeah. Oh, that's dreadful. What have I reviewed recently? Oh, not the cheapest one. God, that was dreadful. Yeah, V4 Pro, full custom mouse. The rigid CLR1. That was cool. Difficult to use. KK1. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've reviewed a mouse. M-Choose L7 Pro. Didn't that one have fairly high high latency? I'm pretty sure I agreed to review Sony's new InZone gaming mouse. So yeah. I'll see what that one's like. Model O2 Pro is great. Yes, it is. Is that the one that I sent you? How much do you self-host stuff these days? I actually have a video on self-hosting stuff that I did first, which is that one. Where I detail what I self-host, but I self-host basically everything. I do. Well, I have two NASes, so I run Pi-hole, Home Home Assistant, and I run AMP. I run. What else do I run? And I also technically self-host both TechteamGB.co.uk and at thewheel.uk. Not at home through a VPS, but it's Nginx, Nginx, and containers. Yeah. What's AMP? Application Management Panel. The game server hosting software that British Simon now has a key for. Hopefully. You have a key, right? I'm not well. And that I did for the giveaway PC and that sort of stuff. I host my own Satisfactory game. You do, wonderful, excellent. Glad you got it. Do I use my FX30 as my main camera? Yes. Well, so the FX30 does all the B-roll. So any product shots you see me playing games, whatever, that is all B-roll. The base stuff, the A-roll, is still with my Panasonic GH5. And this is a Sony A6500, I think, if I remember rightly. I've had it for years now. And I think it works alright. It's got... Wow, that's really close. Let's zoom it back out. I'm trying to read the millimeter measurement so I get it at the right point. There we go. Yeah. By the way, my wireless keyboard issue persists. It's a USB power saving issue that needs a BIOS update from Extra to fix. Interesting. Uncomfortably close, yeah. Hold on, someone wants a posture check. There we go. My back hurts a lot. FX3 is minimum acceptable for a webcam. Jim, I think my content had something bad in it and got deleted somehow. Feel free to repost it if I've missed it, or YouTube has deleted it, or at very least, like, I don't know, chop it up or something. Still love the Logitech G502 wired mouse for the money, solid unit, and I can't hit the window with it yet. Nice. Hardware Boxer Gamers Nexus. Why limit yourself? Why limit the competition? You know, we need as many data sources as possible. You know? All I'll say is, Steve. On the topic of mice, I'm considering the G 309. That number hurt my brain for some reason. Lightspeed, fair enough. Essentially says go for the Ajaz AJ179 Pro instead. Infinitely higher quality for the same price. There you go. And yeah, Ish, I didn't see that. His comment. Ah, I see. What about poor old Tim? Wow, it's both of their channels, so that my joke still counts. Visit next year's Computex, maybe we can meet there. If it wasn't so expensive and I wasn't physically disabled in multiple ways, I would consider that again. I have been to Computex once. Funnily enough, MSI Laptops paid for it. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I'd love to see a review of the AJ179 Apex, to be honest. Seems great, but I want that TechteamGB review. I mean, send me the link. If it's not heinously expensive, I might, you know, buy it and see what it's like. I'm making pancakes. Wonderful, Tammy. Hope you enjoy them. 8 kilohertz doesn't mean as much as you think it does. Luckily, I don't have any medical bills besides my monthly prescription payment. Yeah. Sony monitors are quite famous in your region, but in Asia we don't see it at all, even though it's a Japanese company. I wouldn't say that they're like, at least the monitors, like TVs, Sony TVs are super popular. But the what you call it? Come on, brain. The monitors are a lot less popular. They're really cool though. The M9S, M10S, the M10S, really cool. I keep threatening to go to Computex and paid for by a company, but I've only been twice. I like the idea that you have to like you're threatening that you will go. So that's quite funny. I just love my body so much. That's sarcasm for anyone who didn't understand. Well, does anyone have any last minute tech questions to ask? Just for you, Jim, the video tomorrow is in fact the Windows for ARM laptop, so check that out. 5 or 6 o'clock tomorrow, UK time. It's hard when you have your own business and can't get away from it. Yes, yes, it is. It's hard to take holiday in general. Fair enough, Sammy. Interesting. Right, well, I think I'm going to leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Hope you all stay safe. You all have fun. And yeah, tomorrow for a video about Windows for ARM laptops. Monday for a interesting 5K monster review. And next Thursday for a stream. Right. I'll catch you all next week. Bye.